Hello and welcome to the Fortitude Podcast. It is Season 2, Episode 8. Oh wait, it's Episode 7.
I was about to say it!
I knew it! It's happened again. Lads. So if you can hear
You're
this...
always slurping something. You're like...
If you can hear that, I have my infamous horn from a few podcasts ago. Audience on who's listening on Spotify and Apple and so on. I am currently drinking out of a horn.
And I copied him.
And if you,
And Jay is broken.
if you are on Spotify or Apple, then head over to YouTube and watch this live.
Yeah.
Well,
just watch it happen.
Watch what's going on.
To my left, I have...
Jason,
Wait. Sorry, Jay. To my beautiful, awesome-tastic
Oh, stop
left.
it. Jason Watson.
must be nice having horns.
And,
Sorry.
oh,
Where's your scarf I got you?
It's
In the bin, isn't it?
I saw it in the bin. I saw it in the work bin.
I had the horn first, by the way.
And to my absolutely spectacular, godly right, we have... Who is it?
It's me. It's Kay.
And just
Kamal.
in the middle, the
Beautiful.
piddle.
Oh,
The
in
beautiful.
wonderful,
Wonderful,
cheers.
gorgeousness,
magical,
majestic,
creative,
gorgeous,
sensational,
still gorgeous.
No
though.
one watches.
center,
The center
Me,
of attention.
Frankie Luz.
Yep.
Jay, what's your Instagram?
rustic soul.
Key.
Life of Kamal.
And me, the real Frankie Luz. All right. Oh, Christ. My notes are on the floor, so I'm obviously going to peel off later
Where
on.
are they?
They're in there, Jay. Do you want
Do you want me to get in there?
Go get
Alright,
them?
get them, Jay, you prick.
Right, we're talking weekly recap as usual. We're also going to go into the K list because Jay, I think you've got a few things, haven't you?
They don't do anything.
And I also would like to hear a tale.
A tale of what Kay called me earlier on, apparently.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, it's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So after that, we're going to go into the topic, and the topic this week is Kay. You have the topic this week. What is it?
Oh, sellouts.
Are you chewing?
Yeah.
What?
No, stop now.
Why do you? Oh.
Well, let me wash it down. Man's gonna eat.
They're always on podcasts. It's like I was setting up for a good 45 minutes here.
I was
and
eating for
there was
45
an
minutes
eating
as well.
period.
There was an eating period just beforehand.
Beforehand.
So yeah, we're going to talk sellouts in the Instagram.
Well, I'm not sure if that's how I want to name it, but I guess, yeah. It's,
do you want to say, or someone who is willing? No, because
Kay, what do you want to name it?
I don't really know.
This is your bit.
I'm going to call it the Project IG.
Project IG.
it's going to be called Sellout Vibe Project IG.
Thank you.
Because
I like it.
it's not for complete sellout. It's very interpretive, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't find a new name for a sellout, so it's called the sellout for now.
And we're then going to talk after that the free books that the Three Stooges.
The
We're
Three
going to talk the free
Stooges.
books that they've consumed this week.
Yeah.
And then we were going to finish off there. So
There we go.
the weekly recap. Jay, what you been up to?
Okay, so this week I've had my fiance off work. She's been off work for the week because she works at a school. So I've spent some well-needed time with my lady. We went to London on Thursday, and I watched a play called Mousetrap. It's a murder mystery play. It's very, very good. Straight acting for the whole 2 hours. It's very, very good.
What was it
Very-
about?
I can't tell you too much because they make you swear at the end to not tell too much.
Really?
Yep. And I'm an oath keeper. So I won't say too much, but basically to set the scene, you've got like it's in like the olden times. You've got like a mansion of sorts. It's a bit like the game Cluedo, but for real.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
very cool.
Nice.
It's very, very cool. So I would recommend it. If in London, go down to Leicester Square, the ticket place, and you can get it on the day at a cheaper rate.
So you had to solve problems.
You don't. It tells you the answer at the end, but you're kind of while you're watching it, you're
Trying to suss it
You're
out.
trying to suss out who you think it's going to be.
Ah.
I got it.
Did you actually?
I am a genius.
Did you actually?
I clocked it in such a cool way. Francesca almost got it because there's a bit of a twist.
Almost
where
isn't getting it
it's
though,
not
really,
quite,
is
is
it?
it, Francesca? Yeah, you dumb. It's my fiance, by the way, so I get rights to say that to her.
Yeah.
You know, I also
I
get
heard
rights to-
Kay say it once.
Did you call my? Why would you say that, Frank? That's a dangerous ground, Dave.
Ooh.
That is telling me that my friend said something nasty about my fiance. That's
the viscous
I think that's one step too far.
Oh, come on.
This is
The
the
many
one I
steps
never
taken.
crossed.
Yeah,
The many steps taken.
That's too real.
Really?
Because I
you
believe
mean
that
real?
he did. I believe that he
I
did.
wouldn't surprise me.
She's not dumb. She's very clever. She's cleverer than me. So yeah, that happened, which is cool. Other than that, it's just been, training the clients, doing bits, and
chilling out.
chilling out, drinking from me horn.
Okay.
The horn.
What have you been doing?
Productive week.
Oh, he's already better than us.
What do you mean?
Outdone
Sorry,
me
go on.
instantly.
Yeah, productive.
Well,
Not like you play.
I've been trying to get up at 7 o'clock. So I managed every morning just before 7, apart from, I think it was like Friday when I got up at like 12 o'clock. So just cancelled out all the work that I've been doing throughout the whole week.
Yeah,
so
but one day's not going to matter.
Yeah, it was alright. Definitely needed it. My body was shutting down. Wanted to kill myself.
It's really depressing.
Terrible week. You alright?
Yeah, it's been good. And then I had a photo shoot with Luke.
Doesn't surprise me.
And then we had a photo shoot today, didn't we, lad?
Well,
we did. It was all fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Call it a photo shoot. I'd call it more a couple of lads.
Why are you downplaying everything
Like
we
he hates
do?
every second he spends with us. Did you know that there's a community hall which invited us to busking, and
Yeah.
Frankie has never even mentioned it?
Yeah, she said that Frankie is often there on the nights having a beer and joining
I
with
don't quite
the music.
understand.
So context.
That's never happened.
We went down to Frankie's house, and there's this community centre.
It's a straight up lie.
So, and when we went down, we mentioned you, and she knows you. She knows Louise, and anyway, and she invited us round. She got us involved. We're doing a health talk with her and all kinds of things.
Are you actually?
Yeah. We, you know, you want to do that thing where you do for health and fitness in Rendlesham.
Yeah.
Me and Kamal are now going to be the ones who do it. We've come down there and we've stolen the ground.
She also thinks we have a coffee company.
Yeah. So essentially,
So you've with me and my lovely girlfriend.
Yep.
Has tried to start something, and you've actually travelled beyond yonder to come and get involved.
essentially, we're like we're like a commercial gym coming in to ruin it.
Oh, you really are.
Yeah, we've changed. And Frankie, what have you been up to this week then, my man? My man.
Not Kay's man.
You're the people's man.
I've been also very productive.
Oh, good for you two.
Oh, there's always a competition. Competition.
So I've been doing a lot of video stuff.
You've been killing it.
What do you mean, killing your spirit? Is that what you meant?
Both. Frankie won a chest.
Jay, he said
earlier.
both.
That's terrible.
Frankie won a
I mean, I
chest
said it
for
as
free.
no.
Kay,
You
why
said
you-
my videos kill your spirit,
That was
You've been killing it.
ghastly.
and
That
then
was
I made a little
ghastly.
joke, and Kay went, "Yeah."
Both, you
Both.
bastard. I said that bit.
I said oath.
Oh, yeah, oath.
You're an oath breaker.
Oh, an oath breaker is the biggest of like treacheries in the world.
Lannister
that's for sure.
sends
Yeah.
their regards.
Yeah. Oh, he's a Lannister, isn't he?
You're a Stark, bro.
I'm a Stark. Stark
But
through
no
and
idea what
through.
Lannister
But and
is.
I'm the Dawn, the characters that really
Yes,
ruined the season.
You get your eyes fucking squeezed
Oh
in.
shit, he was good though.
That was great. I wish he didn't get killed off.
Yeah.
Great
What else
character.
have you been up to this
Great
week?
character.
Cheers, Kay, for bringing that back.
Shut up, you two, you dum-dums.
So I've been editing the podcast. It sounds like I haven't been doing a lot when I just say I've been editing the podcast.
Takes a lot of time.
That
doesn't
takes
it?
fucking ages, and I've mastered it, sort of. Not a lot. I've not really mastered it. I've got slightly better.
You're a man of many talents.
You're
a man of
many.
many talents, but few actual
Don't say that.
skills.
Don't say that. You're wonderful.
Don't
You're
say
gorgeous.
that's
You're
true.
handsome.
You're
My
gorgeous.
gaming channel, I've been doing some load of content for that. Do you
How's
know
that
what? I want to talk. I want to talk one day of how to fucking get your stuff out there, because I think I'm a genius when it comes to creating content.
Engaging.
You say engage, and I just don't get how to do it.
Bro, literally just comment on people's things.
Be a
And then
bot.
they'll see your comments, they'll see your profile.
But yeah, it's just so fake.
It's not fake.
The
It's what you
industry is
gotta do.
fake. The industry is fake. The influencer, YouTube, Instagram inventory is fake.
I want
So-
to back up though. It's not necessarily fake if you comment things that you mean. Yes, you're doing it for personal gain, but you can generally enjoy the people's content and say, "Oh, dude, that's a great workout routine."
Fake.
If you're doing it with a fake, if it's coming from a place of just growth and not appreciation, then it's
I suppose
absolutely fake,
how you look at it.
Pretty much guarantee. I reckon I'd say 85% of people trying to be in the industry do it for
Oh yeah, I
fake.
agree. Yeah,
And that saddens me, because I genuinely believe that's why I think my growth will forever be slow.
Yeah.
Is because I'm not willing to sell out.
Sell out.
You got to play the game though. You definitely do have to play the game.
I don't
If you look at it like a business, then because play the game while it's like available to be played.
Think of it this way:
it will change soon.
If the gym wants to get memberships, we're not gonna. We're approaching people. Why? Because we love them? No, because we want to sell gym memberships.
Are you saying you don't love all your gym members, Kay?
No, I'm just
That's
saying.
what I heard.
Prior to meeting them, realistically, you don't know them, but you do have to approach them. Obviously, because it's going to put food on our table and our staff's table, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I suppose like now, because then now we do love the gym members. Like when you get to know them.
But beforehand, they're just prospects.
Yeah.
To a degree, I think with anyone,
We don't care about people.
How do you both psych yourself up? Because I feel like I know now why I stop on so many different things.
Me and Jason have this timer thing we do now.
We kiss
set
each
a
other.
timer, we put a 20-minute timer on. We'll start making out.
Yeah.
And sometimes in between making out, we'll start engaging with different people's profiles on Instagram, trying to write in their comments and reply to their stories.
No, that wasn't even what he said. You just didn't even listen to what I said.
No, that's what he meant. Like, because you said, how do you because you now know how what you do that makes you fall off the wagon, wasn't it?
How do you set yourself up?
I meant more. How do you
That
because
helps us get into flow, psych yourself up, like
but how do you carry on if you see no progress? How go on? Motivate
having
me.
another person helps.
Yeah.
You're either in it or you're not. If you want to, same with business. If you don't see progress for 6 months, are you going to stop or are you going to keep persevering until you pivot or find a way to make it work? If you're not built for it, then you're not built for it. If you really want to do it, you'll find a way to do it.
What about
if you keep coming out and can't get back in, then maybe you are doing the wrong thing.
Yeah,
And question what you're doing. I guess you've also got to really enjoy it. Like if you for example, your gaming channel, like if you're not getting too much going on, like growth so quickly, if you're enjoying it and you love it still, then surely you can just keep going because it's something you desperately love and enjoy, and you're so into it that
You're really good at it. Your edits are incredible.
You are. You do
funny.
stand out. You just got to get that spot.
that's the thing because like I try and when I go into things like anything when I get making any video, I'm doing anything on Instagram or whatever, I try and think am I enjoying it? And I deep down I do because I end up rewatching my content and that's a sign of you liking what you've made. The only bit that does like get to you at the end is that when you put in 3-4 hours on some content and you get 2 viewers, but then I'm disrespecting the 2 viewers that enjoy it. So it's just more of a mental block that I have with.
Well, there's your drive then. If happiness means that you'll get more views and more views will mean more people will appreciate your content, then that's the drive behind you setting a timer for half an hour. Literally sit while you're on the toilet or something and just engage with people. Make sure that they see your profile. Yeah. How else are you gonna do it? I literally can't think of any other way. If Gary Vee says it, all the influencers say that this is the way to do it, then we might as well listen to their advice and try it out.
Yeah.
And it works. It does work. Definitely on weeks when I haven't done the engagement hour the engagement 20 minutes, I get a lot less likes and
Profile
comments
views,
and profile views. But as soon as I'm going out there 20 minutes a day and doing it, just comment on people's, going on an explore page, looking at people's stuff, and on YouTube it would be the same thing to an extent, looking on what's current and looking at what people are doing. When I'm doing that myself, the return is much better. So yeah, you have got to throw yourself out there in order to have people see you.
It is a little bit daunting, and I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if there was another person not doing it with me.
Yeah.
So Jason,
it's very tedious, isn't it? And it can be very boring, especially because when you are doing that, you are going for people like who you're not really engaging with the content. You are just trying to network with people essentially. Like you might every now and then stumble across someone who you see their page and you stop for more than 2 minutes on there and you actually realize they're really cool and you really like them. But more often than not, you are just trying to get yourself out there, and it can be really tedious. It can be kind of soul breaking. Yeah. It feels a little bit.
It does feel soulless because you don't know those people.
Yeah.
And you are doing it for, an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Which is growth.
But then you do balance that by making sure that the people who you do actually know and the people who you do eventually turn, like those, sometimes those little 2-minute engagements turn into long-standing relationships with people through Instagram. Or
I suppose when you say it like that, it makes it easier for me to think I can do that. Yeah. It's more if I feel like I'm just doing it to get the people in and then never to speak to them. It's just like it feels like I'm a robot when I don't like it.
Building relationships.
Yeah, how can you build a relationship without saying hello first?
True. Jay, have you got a K list for us?
Okay, so K list, a couple of bits going downtown. So we went to we had a gap between clients earlier on, and we went to a place called Love Thy Burger. Now, this is not really a K list. It's not his fault. Well, there was a little bit.
It's always his
There was a
always
little
back up
bit. It
there.
goes back to that thing we discussed before, which will come up shortly. So we're in Love Thy Burger, and there's a girl working there, and I can't remember how we got to this, but basically, she mentioned that she unfollowed him on Instagram because he parked out front of Love Thy Burger, and didn't get a parking ticket. When she parked outside of Love Thy Burger, she got a parking ticket.
She unfollowed you for
and
that?
She was angry, but then she didn't actually. Turns out she didn't actually unfollow him.
Just a bit of
And then
joke.
during all
1%.
this, she's basically starting a conversation and having a chat. And Kamal says something about come down to our gym, and then I made a little comment, jokey one, like a follow Rustic Soul as a joke. And then Kay went, ready? Kay goes, yeah, follow Rustic Soul. She went, yeah, and then carried on and she went, yeah, so the reason I ever come to your gym though, or something like that. So basically he said that, she brushed me off almost instantly. Didn't really care to chat. So it was like very much aware that she was liking Kay and wanted to hit on Kay.
Oh, no.
And then towards the end, we're saying goodbye. And he goes, I'll give you like a week. We'll give you a week for free if you follow Rustic Soul. And it's like, it made me look so lame because it's like he had to demand it and like bribe her to follow me.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm like something. I felt like a child.
We'll give you a lifetime membership if you follow.
It's that thing where like I know you mean well.
I feel you.
But it actually made me look lame. And we've had a discussion about that a couple of times when you've said it, when he said something.
He does it all the time.
He says something and it makes you look silly because like,
I don't do it all the time.
you mean well, but I looked like a turd.
He will either go, and this is Frankie, or this is Jason.
Yeah, and then
I don't talk like that.
is that your
He does, doesn't he?
Is that your Kamal voice?
And this when he gets hyper, and this is Jason. Does that make sense?
Sounds like a fucking...
Do you know what I mean?
I get what voice. I know what you're trying to do. I know what voice you're. But the way you're doing it doesn't sound like Kay. You made him sound like.
And this is Jason.
I feel like you're really enjoying insulting me.
Oh, no. That's not
how
you?
Kay sounds.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just. You heard me try and do Russian last week. It was Indian and Irish. That's just. I'm not very good.
So,
And then also I am good.
And then she laughed at me. I cried and died inside a little bit. So that happened.
That sounds awful.
And something else obviously wasn't that important. I've forgotten the other one. I think that's it. That's it for me. I'm out.
Do you want to hear the insult Kay said then
Kay
earlier?
called me. Apparently Kay called me a name.
So I'm sitting here, and he goes, the thing about Jay is,
Literally never happens.
I believe you.
You'll believe this. This is definitely a Kay thing to say. So he goes, the thing about Jay is, if I didn't know him, I don't reckon I'd be his friend.
It's weird how you craft your life. Like,
I was like, what the hell, man?
First of all, I've been so thoughtful this entire week
So
that Frankie has nothing to go on. And
if you didn't know him, you wouldn't be friends with him. But because you know him and because you're associated with Jason, therefore,
I don't know why you're entertaining
friendship.
this lie. So Frankie has to now rely on lies to create some.
What was the context of which the lie formed? If it was a lie,
I was sitting there quietly
I was saying,
on my laptop editing photos of you guys.
So that's already a lie because you were standing on your phone.
So it either means that you've either twisted something which Kay said, which was kind of in context, not in context, or you made it up from your own mindset, which means
Kay.
you wouldn't be my friend.
Well, a new sponsor, by the way.
What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know because I feel like what you said there obviously probably wasn't.
Is it a Kay thing? Would you say it's a Kay thing?
Direct sentence, but there is a way that I can imagine Kay said something.
Are you impressed with the lie that Frankie made up out of the blue?
I feel like.
Mate.
I feel like
disrespect.
I just want to know the truth because you're gonna set me off on a trail of issues again.
Ready?
You two.
So I'm standing. You can imagine it in his voice.
They do this all the time. They wonder why I have
voice,
large
there was no voice.
issues.
You went. The thing about Jason is, and then you said it.
God,
I'm completely lying, by the way, 100%.
Did you say God? I hate you sometimes.
What the hell?
I don't hate you. But like that's really hurtful.
I mean, at the end of the day, I am
You're
lying.
trying to break
So
friendships.
if it's a lie, then Frankie, how come you could form such a thought
Because
process?
I was trying to think of something really bad to say on the podcast.
No,
So
then why-
like Jason, you tried to hurt Jason on the podcast.
Yeah, then why are you trying to actively hurt me?
You're trying to see his sad face on the camera.
Yeah, why are you
because
now
I wanted
saying
to
use it for
spark
the
a
highlights?
reaction.
Yeah, but that, what if that were really bad? What if I was like,
Because I
what the
think you
hell,
can
Kay?
take it.
Well, Jason was upset.
This is me and Kamal have a long-standing, very cherished and valuable friendship.
And that's why
And,
I thought the reaction would be priceless.
But what if imagine I like threw the horn at him and then he swung for me and then I got knocked out.
Well, I don't picture you doing it. I pictured you being cool like you are now.
the way I,
You're cool.
reacted the way
Just
I
cool
am.
it down.
Because I might have stood up and said, "Kay, what the hell, man?" And then because I stood up, he then might have grabbed my face and threw it in the glass.
I mean, I would have been.
Imagine
I'd been
that.
very surprised and very
Imagine
guilty if
and
that
then
would have
I'm
happened.
hanging out with a new
should-
sponsorship fridge, and
Thanks for that sponsor, Noku.
yeah. So thank you, Nokia, for our sponsors.
Do they
Good
know?
thing our fridge was behind us to light up the
The
To
situation.
ruin my colour grading.
yeah the ruin effect. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah, so just to go
Just
over
too much
my
knowledge.
K
And
list.
to break down that lie more, technically speaking, if Kay didn't know me, then he wouldn't be my friend because he doesn't know me.
So you just
So how
made
can we
up.
be friends until you know someone? So
Well, your rationale
this
has
is actually a true statement. If you did say it, it would be true. Because
Yeah.
if I didn't know Kay, we wouldn't
see
be friends because I didn't know him.
The real Frankie Loves always speaks the truth.
It's a good thing I'm so damn logical. Logical.
There's a placebo going on here. I feel very drunk.
That's
Just,
why
drinking out of the
being
whole-
so hilarious.
Hey!
Oh, you can start swearing at us soon, didn't you? Back to
Nah.
your old ways.
I wouldn't do that because I know I'd get the sack.
Oy. So yours was a joke, but was it a joke when Kay said, "I hate you" sometimes?
No, because that was very real. That was very real. You managed to I managed to do something really horrible and you still come out the bad guy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys have crafted this friendship group.
Us
to
guys, I
perfection.
think there's
Oh,
only
wait a
one
minute,
guy
now
in
let's
this
dive
little-
into that.
There's
So-
only one guy who's corrupted
what
it, and
else
he's
have we done?
sitting in the
We've
middle of
got
us. He's
Wait,
voicing his ways.
So you just said there, okay, we crafted this friendship.
Well, it's mostly you.
And then if I use some words that you said once upon a time ago, is that you also said, I now think of you guys as friends.
What?
When you start adding these things, can you remember that, Jay?
now think of us.
Can you remember that?
You.
I think he
Jason,
did-
don't
Can you remember that, Jay?
I don't think he
Couldn't get
said
onto
us.
these
I
words.
think he said you.
There was a whole podcast on it. It's like episode 2.
Let's find it. Let's rewind
Nah,
back.
well, not now, because then we'll be on our phones. But,
All right. We'll do it after.
100%,
Let's just
because
assume
then
that Frankie's wrong.
you said this because we then made the joke that we're your acquaintances.
Oh yeah, that's the acquaintances comment. Yes, I get
Yeah?
it. Yes, because we took the sentence massively out of context, didn't we?
I now see you guys as really, really good friends.
Now all of a sudden we're really good friends. Of course we are.
So
It's not sudden, is it?
well, no, I'm saying Kay's words.
Frankie, what are you trying to pull?
Let's talk
this
about
is
Brian.
What are
sickening.
you trying to do, Frankie?
Brian.
Brian
Brian.
Decosta.
Is that topic? Wait, topic. Yeah,
Have
it's
you got a
topic.
dilemma today? A dilemma.
I really forgot that was a thing.
Frankie.
I mean,
Frankie.
do you know?
While Frankie thinks of a dilemma,
No.
I'll explain it.
The
Brian
thing
Decosta.
is, kid. Okay, hear me out, man. The thing is, I was thinking of dilemmas, and then I was like, at the end of the day, it comes down to, would you kill this person
It's really fun though.
to save this one?
Great
The dilemmas are
dilemma. It's a
hilarious.
great dilemma.
Yeah.
Really?
Really enjoy them.
All right, next week. I can't bore the thing. Well, let's talk. Kay, what was your topic?
Okay. All right.
If you were wondering why the podcast is now ruined, Frankie's taking bits out of the podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus.
All right. So Brian Decosta. So it all started off on this sunny day where I saw a picture of Brian Decosta and I thought, oh no, you gave me the idea. So Frankie gave me an idea of calling Brian Decosta
Taking my
behind the
ideas.
Starbucks.
I never said that.
Okay, well, you triggered my
No.
mind and then I came up with the idea.
I remember. I think we were talking in reference to something. And I said you should slag off Brian as a joke.
Yeah.
To see if you could get a reaction.
Yeah.
And then you went, "Oh, Frankie, you genius." And then I was like, "You're mocking me." And then you had your genius ideas.
Yeah. The aha moment.
What?
Oh,
Oh, it's such an
I
idea.
hate people who say that.
I know, I hate it
man.
so much. That's why I stopped listening to Entrepreneur on Fire podcast because he uses
You
that.
recommended that to me.
I know, but he
What the
uses
hell?
that moment a lot. Yeah. Anyway, so I've sent him a meme. He liked it. He shared it on his story. Then we got talking about his business ventures and stuff like that. Turns out he has this this mastermind thing where you essentially okay.
You had a face call.
We had a face call the other day. And he's really pumped up. Right, before I go into the negative side of the business, let me just explain that Brian Decosta is an incredibly hardworking man. You see it on Instagram every single day that he's working from early hours in the day, training really hard, and going to sleep real late, helping change a lot of people's lives. So great guy. Anyway, he's got this mastermind program where he charges you £7,000 or dollars, sorry. Or if you pay it in 2 installments, it's 9,000.
Okay, that's generous, though, isn't it?
It's generous.
I only charge you $2,000 more.
Yeah. So it's
Well, come on. What are you saying? Have you just forgotten?
I forgot what I was saying.
So he only 9,000 in installments.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so it's a 12-week course, and
What's the point of it?
so you're there to essentially double your money or make more or something. So he guarantees that if you follow his footsteps, at least by the end of 12 weeks, you'll make your money back, which is great.
Okay, so what's your point to this?
So it sounded really good until I said he said what do you think? What are you game? So I said it's a lot of money to part with. So I think if you have any testimonials I can speak to, then this will this will reassure me a little bit more. So I said, yeah, no problem. There's actually a guy that signed up from the UK called Andy. So I'll get you in touch with him. You can speak to Andy, see what you think, and then I'll get back to you. I said, sounds good. So he gave me details of Andy. Andy called me on Sunday or Saturday, yesterday. And I had this call on the phone. So I thought Andy is the guy that, purchased this plan and went through the program, which is what he made it sound like. Andy is a sales rep. So Andy calls me up and...
How do you know this?
Okay, so Andy calls me up and he says, hey man, how you doing? So I said, yeah, good man, just wanted to see what you thought of the program and, so how resourceful you found it, how quickly you generated your income, etc. He said, oh, okay, cool. So, well, the best thing about Brian Decosta, like what they do at Brian Decosta's online coaching program.
Oh, he stumbled his words when he said we or they.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So, and then he basically explained all the benefits of the program. So he had a whole sales pitch, and then he asked me a question. So this is how, if you're in sales before, you'd know this. So if he asks you a question, that would then lead to, if you're good at sales, you'd repeat their answer. So let's just say, oh, I'm in the market for a 2-bedroom house. Oh, you're in the market for a 2-bedroom house. Well, then I have this solution for you. I told him what I was in the market for, and he didn't not only give me a solution, but he just continued his sales pitch. So you knew he had a script.
Oh, really?
It was completely unnatural, and I kept trying to like knuckle down what sort of numbers he was talking about. So he was doing a lot of fluff talk. At the end, I was like, Andy, look, let's just be completely transparent here. All I really want to know, this is 10 minutes into it, all I really want to know is how many clients you've gained in the last 4 weeks. I asked him that question like 7 different times. He said, it's probably like, I don't know, like 5 or 4. And then his numbers that the amount of money that he charged for those clients kept changing. He went from 400 to 2,000, and then it just didn't make sense. So it basically sounded like Brian Decosta hired Andy to do his pitch. Now, I don't know if this is true. Maybe Andy just really fucked up his testimonial.
Just a shit testimonial.
Maybe he thought he was doing good. I don't know if these guys are on commission, but I was personally completely thrown off after speaking to Andy. But then Brian Decosta texted me saying, oh, bro, I've got some books to send over to you before we get started. So he's still under
just
the pressure.
assuming that you were going to...
Yeah.
It's like kind of trying to push you into it, isn't he? So
yeah,
like
it's quite
telling you, here comes the books before we get started.
That hard
Any
sell.
sort of like doubt you might have had, he's trying to make you go past it.
Yeah, I mean, I gave just to test his salesmanship skills. I gave him 3 objections. He didn't come any of them.
No, really?
And he didn't. And
But were you ever in the market though? Because you can't. What's his name? Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Says if there's 3 types of people, obviously someone who doesn't want it, someone who kind of can, doesn't, and then there's someone who's an easy.
I was a kind of.
So you were okay.
Yeah.
So that you can sell them.
It would have. Yeah, he could have sold me, because if you're gonna make my money back, then that's a no-brainer. Sure, I'll invest if you make my money back. But anyway, I wasn't impressed. So that's it.
So the context of the topic today is, what is it? Selling out. So what?
I don't think it's sold out. I don't know how to.
Well, it's a
phrase
bit
it.
crooked.
It does sound crooked based on Andy's conversation.
I just think like that. Like obviously we think quite highly of Brian Decosta, and you made that image of him in like jest and to have a chat with him and have a laugh with him, and he started being friendly with you and talking to you, and it kind of feels like the only real reason he was actually, earlier on we said about being fake and being real, it seemed like the only real reason he was engaging with you more and trying to make a big chat with you was to think that, oh, there could be a sale out of you. So it's like, it feels a bit false, and that ruined
the relationship.
So it's not really selling out, but it's like you're kind of losing your soul, and
there's a lot of fakeness to it.
Losing a fan on the basis that you don't see him as a fan or someone who likes you anymore. You see him as a potential client or a.
So it was a very interesting insight into the industry or how they run their programs and stuff.
Yeah, like do you hit a certain number of followers and you're just like, this is just a sales now? Like your account. I know businesses on Instagram, like you can make a lot of money on it, but. Does that what happens?
20 people though. There's 12-week courses with 20 people.
Yeah, so he's doing to a lot of people. I reckon he gets a lot of young lads and stuff, and a lot of young people who are like, I love Brian Decosta. Then he messages him and says, FaceTime calls him because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, he loves me. Let's do it.
Because you do feel special when things like that happen.
Yeah, because it's quite unique, and you've got his number and everything. So it feels special.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, all you've kind of done is. Luckily, you're smart enough and logical enough to understand it because of your business background. But a lot of people who weren't you, who are new, like, for example, some of the young lads who come here, who they might have fallen into it, then they just be easily swayed onto joining up, spending the money, which they obviously work hard for. And by the end of it, if they fail, it's just like, no, you probably didn't try hard enough. Yeah.
I guess we'll never know until we pay the £7,000. But I'm sure the 20 people that generated him $140,000.
That's crazy.
That is crazy money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of income from him. And like, what's the likelihood of all 20? What the statistics? That would have been an interesting question. How many out of 20? Because if he only gave you one case study, that Andy guy, Andy would have been 1 out of 20. But then how many out of other groups of 20 were there? If he's only got one case study, well, I guess he said a UK case study, didn't he? So you never really know. It just felt a bit cheap from the start, in my opinion. I wasn't part of it, but from looking into it, it looked like at first it was really cool that he was talking to you, and then very quickly it was like, oh,
you realize why
he's talking to you because he's then trying to sell to you, and
it's like they just want to sleep with you.
He wants to sleep with you and then dump you.
Can't wait for this to be the highlights. It's like he just wants to sleep with you.
I want to know what makes a sellout, all right? Because what I get from this fella is that the things that he done wrong. If you're trying to sell someone on something, transparency, isn't it? Because as soon as someone knows that they're trying to be sold, you got flashing lights. I mean, but then again, we're sitting here not making 140 for 140,000. So
the money talks.
He's obviously fooling people.
Maybe he's providing value there. Maybe he's making their money back.
He probably does believe he's worth it. And none of us are saying he's not worth the money that you pay into him. It's not a case of like saying, oh, no, he's not worth it. Don't put your money, because he's a successful man. And to learn from his past is an experience worth paying for. But it's just, you didn't approach him looking for that. You approached him as someone who's just like interested in him and like friendly, want to become friendly and things like that. But he took that as an opportunity to jump onto it.
He was just one of the people that was in the 30-minute timer when the number keeps going up, 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute timer. But yeah, just one of the people that you engage with and then just make a meme for.
How would you have reacted if he would have said at the start of the FaceTime, come on, I'm not going to lie, phoned you up, so I'm thinking, I've seen your Instagram and stuff, and I want to get you on this program. I am trying to...
That's how the FaceTime started, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So did that win you over? Because that would have initially have won me over before he messed up with the sales pitch.
I was I was completely happy with him until Andy. It's more because
fucking Andy.
It was clearly a lie because Andy was not a testimonial. Andy was a sales pitch, a sales guy.
Yeah.
So it's just when it becomes false. Like it's not. Why don't you just be honest? Like
then he lost that trust. He broke the trust. So why would I believe anything else that he says?
Okay. As far as sellouts, so if we go into that,
I'd say if you're a sellout, it's like, let's just say I've suddenly got 100,000 followers, and suddenly Juice Plus is like, oh, we'll pay you £1,000 to promote this product. Then you're a sellout because one, you don't believe into the product, two, it's shit, and three, you're selling out to your loyal fans that have been following you for the last few years.
you're giving them something false to buy into.
Which is clearly not going to change your life.
Yeah, which is different to someone who's created their own scheme. Like Brian Decosta's thing is his own thing.
Yeah.
A lot of influencers do make their own thing after a while to try and sell you how to become like them. But I guess, it's a hard one to describe. But yeah, that's an absolute major sellout there. Someone who's decided to start selling a product that
something you haven't
really
ever used before.
Yeah.
Okay, if because I'm trying to always play devil's advocate in my head.
Yeah.
Is a sellout, because the Juice Plus thing would definitely be a sellout. Whereas what happens if let's go to make it easier for listeners, let's talk music.
Yeah.
So when your favorite band sings a certain way, but 3 albums later they've gone pop and maybe mumble rap type thing, or like for example, I like Bring Me the Horizon, who started all that shit, and I like that shit. A lot of people like that. Nowadays they sing harmonies and stuff, and
they've gotten a bit lame
and sold out.
Yeah.
I personally don't believe that type of thing to be a sellout, because at the end of the day, if you're doing the same thing forever, you're not
changing or moving
that's
or
just
growing.
boring.
Yeah.
And you're not actually trying to insult or you're not trying to do someone in type thing.
Yeah.
You're just changing things up. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not selling out.
Chasing the money, probably.
I think if they're also, you got to think about the band themselves. If they're enjoying it, maybe they're tired of doing that sort of music.
Yeah.
They just want to try new avenues, see how
money
that goes.
Gaming as well. So there's this guy called Ninja. Do you know who Ninja is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you know who Ninja is?
No idea.
Guy, colourful hair, plays Fortnite, one of the highest games at the moment or some shit. So he rose to fame because he was streaming. He's one of those gaming streamers and so on. Had a certain way about him, was really hyper. Used to swear a lot on his stream, and obviously got fans from the way he acted. All of a sudden blew up, and I'm talking in a year he made like I think 11 or 10 million subscribers in 1 year.
Big year, big boy year.
Was playing with Drake and so on stream and blah 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 blah. Makes, I think I looked at the video the other day, he makes $1 million something a month from YouTube revenue alone, and that's
big bucks.
That's not to do with the other things. Now he's a sellout, and he definitely is a sellout because he's changed his way. So he not only does he get angry at people who give him money. So on Twitch you can donate money. When you first start off, I imagine the first few donations, you're like,
it's a
fuck,
massive
£5.
deal,
Oh my God, thank you so much. He doesn't react to them. You get an alarm on screen. So because he gets so much, he doesn't react. So a little poor lad out there who only has £3 and
gives him
£1.50
of his £3.
He doesn't react to it anymore because he's so used to it.
Which is bullshit, really.
And he actually has a go at his fans and stuff. But if they comment a certain thing, like if they're all trying to have a bit of a laugh and they comment something he doesn't like, he's tried to go down a route.
Do you reckon he just got arrogant rather than sold out?
Well, there is that, but he's as far as he's gone to a different. He's gone to kids. Like he was swearing originally in his content to now not swear.
Oh, he's not doing kids.
He's now trying to.
The YouTube scene and streamers scene for kids is massive. There's so many of them, and they're so easy to get their money. Like if you're a streamer, it's so easy to get a kid to give you £2, £3, £4, and get so many subscribers there, where you then become like in the big bucks. So I don't know. He's sold out in the sense that he's changed his audience and he's changed his ways, but at the same time, is he just smart for changing to adapt to what the most current, like it's like us being like, the gym like this no longer works. It's making no money like this. We now need to change our gym to adapt to the current audience. It's that kind of thing. But
I've got a question for you guys then. What would you do if you got 100,000 followers and Juice Plus approached you and they was going to pay you £1,000 a month for promoting their product?
That's the thing. That's a very hard thing to say no to, isn't it? But I think on the basis of someone like Juice Plus, because they're so lame, and that £1,000 a month seems really, really good at the time. But by doing that and saying yes to that, you might be limiting your chance to make more than that through being true. So if you're already on that level of following, giving into a company like that is probably a bad move. They falsely make you feel like, £1,000 a month for doing this. That's gonna be so good. I can't wait.
Let's call it 20k. So I don't think they'd pay. I think they must pay more than 1k.
20k a month.
Some advertisers.
Seems really extreme.
All right, so let's call it a new company who's obviously bullshit. Will pay you 20k. Do you sell out now
I think what I'll do
and
is
invest your money while you can?
I'd call up as many different companies with similar field as possible, the ones I actually believe in, see if they'll match the price. If not, then I'd take the money. I'd do a story that I'd hide from them and all their PR people to say, by the way, I'm selling out because it's going to give you 20 grand. But just so you know, everything I'm about to promote is going to be fake.
Let's say you're contractually obliged to not do anything like that. Otherwise, you'll get sued. And what happens is the risk of someone finding out.
That's a real hard one now. When the money gets higher, you can see why they do it.
100%. Because you're thinking about your future as well.
People creating these YouTube channels, these Instagram channels and so on, pages.
Depends how bad the product is. If it doesn't harm the people, then I think I can deal with 20 grand. A month.
So you would change your ways. Hey!
No, I wouldn't change my ways. I'd just keep them with the photos and
just say.
So you would sell
These
out.
guys are paying me 20k. I think we'd all sell out for 20k a month.
I want to say I wouldn't.
You definitely would.
But you can't say I definitely would. You can't say that. Yeah, but I can't say I definitely wouldn't because I'm not in that position.
Let's just say it's 0 or 20k from Instagram, and you have a choice of making 20k.
Am I 100,000
if you're
followers
100k
or what?
followers deep at this point,
Then I would say no.
Look at your current
at the moment
income. Yeah, at 100k you should be doing something alright if you're grams.
So if we're going by that, I'm at 100k. I would say no. If I'm at my followers now 300, and I knew that this was it's either 20k now for a couple months or something, or nothing. I'd be in a tough pickle. I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, that's not even a pickle at this stage. I'd definitely do it.
So, we're still saying we're saying here is that basically, like, if the money talks, then we're willing to. You would potentially sell out to a company you don't believe in if the money's right, which does just show that money is all.
Free sellouts.
3 sellouts. I mean, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, fuck it. I've changed my mind.
Your name's the real Frankie Lesney, so you're already screwed. Like we didn't have real in our names. So I mean, I can be the rustic juice. So like juice, apples, fruit, rustic, soul. So it all links up. I'm alright. I'm alright.
Life of Juice Plus.
The life of Juice Plus.
Nice.
See, it works.
That's
welcome.
Brilliant. Juice Plus, if you're listening to this,
do you want to give us 20k?
60k a month between us, and we'll be alright.
That'll be great.
That's interesting, because money's a bastard, isn't it?
It is.
But here's the thing. Here's one. So regardless of whether you're not a sellout, I think how you portray yourself still counts. Like if you're arrogant and a douchebag, then and pretentious and think you're better than everyone else, then you're a turd.
I suppose
you can be a sellout and really, really nice to people still, and people will still like you just because you're getting more money, more success. This shouldn't mean that you become arrogant or prestigious or just above everyone else. It's because of that. As long as if you're selling out and taking in these big companies and they're paying you, but you're still being a decent person to people, they can kind of take that with a pinch of salt because they're aware that most people are smart enough to go, oh, did you see that K's selling Juice Plus now? Yeah, but I bet he's getting paid 10k plus for it, so you understand why. Most people are smart enough to make that. If they like you, they'll look for the positive anyway. So
that's true. Plus, I think if you're sponsored by Juice Plus, you wouldn't be then on the stories this product is amazing, buy it, pay for it. But you can just still put it. If you post it's different to posting on your page and then just having it there and not boasting about it.
Yeah, and having it as an imagery thing, so they get
modeling for them rather than
so they get the views. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be I fucking love it.
Yeah.
You can just be look at me, I'm doing work, but my Juice Plus is sitting next to me, kind of thing. So, and if you're a decent person, I think the big question is not really about sellouts, it's about people who become narcissistic through their growth.
Yours is so loud.
I know,
well loud.
That was horrid.
Right, I'm happy with that. Are you happy?
That. Yep.
So, free sellouts, move on to their books. We are talking. He's going to do it again. Kay, you said last week.
Yes, so last week, so the boys and myself had a challenge.
Boys.
The boys. My boys in it. They're my boys. That was gangster as well. All right, so we had a challenge of reading one book each and then writing down three takeaways from the book that we can all learn.
Start time.
Cheers,
sorry,
That's all right,
Che.
myself. There we go. That's a very good way of doing it.
Anyway, free books. What was your book, Kay?
No, you guys go first.
You want us to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, do it.
I'm fitness related, or do you want fitness first?
Sure.
Okay, so I tuned into Ross Edgley's book. I think it's called The World's Fittest Book, and it's a bloody good read. Or listen, I'm not reading it. I'm listening to it.
Same.
I will not read it. So I've taken one. How many? 2, 3 notes. Well, you can see how my notes.
It's shorter and shorter.
So that one was a big one. 2 is a little bit bigger, and then 1 just says cold showers.
Spotify, Apple, and Deezer listeners,
Yeah.
if you're on YouTube, you could see the notes.
Yeah. So 1 was big, 2 was middle, 3 was small. First one, ready? Training strength the ultimate way. Ready? Hear me out. So this is a kind of I've taken an excerpt from the book, and I've kind of worded it myself to make it make more sense for people that don't know.
So Ross Edgley, you're dumb.
No, actually, he's too smart.
Oh no, you're gonna take this out of context. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no!
Let's go in.
Oh,
Yeah.
why would you do that? He's gonna hate me.
Okay. So the motto is strong, not sore, and the whole concept is that in order to get strong, you want to be doing the same exercises as much as you can to condition your body to get stronger and get used to it.
Yeah.
What happens normally is that after you've done a crazy workout, let's say you've done 140 kg squats for 10 reps or some shit, the next day you can barely move, so you get your DOMs. How do you avoid the DOMs portion? And it's really bloody good. So this was taken from the scientists from the National Strength and Conditioning Association.
Sounds legit.
Higher levels of muscle tension occur during the eccentric phase of the lift. Where are we at? So it's the growth phase, essentially, isn't it? So when we're building muscle, the eccentric
lengthening of the
portion.
muscle.
Yeah. And it also says growing phase will induce many of the adaptations from resistance training. So that phase is where most of the adaptations come from. However, damage produced is significant. So the damage produced is significant compared to isometric and your concentric. Yeah. So how do you get better at strength? Essentially, you take that portion out of it. So he's saying if you want to train strength every single day, then you take the eccentric portion of the lift out of it.
So just explosive.
And go for explosive
initial-
power.
And to back it up, essentially, he's the guy that's climbed Everest on a rope.
Oh, he's incredible, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he then says in his book, he then would do tire flips every day, the sled pulls, and to get his hands. And essentially, he was trying to get his biceps and his arms incredibly strong, so he could climb up a rope. And he needed to have done this every single day. If he would have let himself get sore, then there's no way he could have done it. So
Interesting.
it's quite interesting,
Incredible,
isn't it?
isn't it?
And
try that
obviously your nervous system and so on will get used to the conditioning side of things. So obviously you wouldn't go 7 days a week to start off with because you'd be fried.
Yeah.
But when
As
you work
build
up to
your
it,
conditioning, then yeah.
so I thought that was crazy interesting, and I
It
took a
was
lot of
interesting,
that
yeah.
for my programming.
That's why you've got the rope hanging over the pull machine with the weights hanging off the
That
end.
was to be fair, I done that ages ago. And listening to his thing, I was like, oh, it reminded me. So I had my clients doing it, and it was.
That's a good point.
As far as another bit, it's kind of what the book is based about, really. At the moment, being the body, being able to be like limitless, as far as what you can do. And just to go on, like he climbed Everest with a rope. I think he done a triathlon with a tree,
That guy's fucking
a
incredible.
40
isn't he?
kilo like tree trunk or
I
something.
think I remember the picture.
Yeah, he had it like when he was swimming, he'd have it like attached to him, dragging behind him, creating drag.
And he said in the book that the swimming portion was actually a bit of a rest because it would float.
Oh yeah, it would
Whereas
float,
the
wouldn't it?
bike, from side to side, the core engagement was fucking killing him. So you can imagine. You can
must be
imagine
so
that.
fit.
And then obviously to run with it, the impact on your joints.
Yeah, he's like
Fittest man
I
in the
could
world.
barely run 5 minutes without my hammy triggering.
such a powerful guy.
That's a very good point as well.
And that's why if you see people, sometimes you see a body frame and you're like, why are they able to do something?
Yeah.
That's because they're conditioned to do it. There was a bit in his book where he was talking about wrestlers in, I think it was Russia. Didn't look the part, looked big,
Yeah.
but was strong as an ox because fundamentally what they'd done with their training was basic workouts to get strong and get built. So it was like pull-ups, press-ups, bench press. Just you're literally keeping it basic as hell. No funny business, no drop.
Work, man.
Yeah, no drop sets or anything. And these guys would do it again. They'd do it pretty much every day, as much as possible. I think they said like pull-ups, push-ups, any calisthenic stuff they'd do daily. And these guys, apparently, according to that, Ross Edgley would throw him about in the ring and stuff, in the wrestling. They made it look easy.
You can. That does make sense. You can back it up with the New Zealand All Blacks. I read an article about them, and it was like they were doing the hacker topless, but people were like they weren't shredded looking. They were actually like they were just muscular, but weren't like looking super shredded. And they were like, oh, how come they didn't look like athletes? How come they look a bit bigger? That's because they're built for function and power and strength, not necessarily to pose or whatever. So
the same with the MMA fighters, Fedor Emelianenko and they're also out of shape, and they keep winning their fights in their leagues.
He was fucking champ, wasn't he?
He was incredible.
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
He was cold.
Explosive as hell. Yeah. Explosive, fast, way faster than people in his league, but completely out of shape on the outside.
Just functionally able to destroy you.
Yeah.
But not being racist, but foreigners.
Can't wait for that to be in there.
Foreigners.
When I used to do the lugging stuff, I think I've told you before. I used to do the lugging of the.
Oh yeah.
I think they were about 60 kg boxes from one container into another, and this was hard up before I worked here. It was a rough time. I was poor.
Frankie.
And I was muscly. I fucking trained really hard back then. And these lads, lanky, skinny. I say lads, they're 40-year-old men.
Yeah.
Lanky, skinny. Even this little fella. They were picking these fucking things up, literally like easy, like one at a time. No one was complaining.
Designed for it now, aren't they?
And yes, because they've done it so much, their nervous system, their body was just so used to doing the same old thing every time.
I guess
The
it's the movement
repetition,
pattern as well, like the efficiency of
their kinetic chain and so on. They just mastered it. Whereas I'd come in. Like my deadlifts, my bicep curls, and as soon as I had to pick this thing up functionally, my body just couldn't do it.
Didn't have any handles on it.
I think I said that. I went, if this had handles, I could do double.
Nice.
But
it's like watching your dad move a wardrobe from one room to the other.
Oh, yeah.
And he asks you
my
to help
God.
him, and you can hardly move your part. Yet he's like,
how many times has your mum made a joke like, don't get him his help, he can't do it? Oh, my mum says that all the time.
No, mine don't.
Literally, anytime I have to carry anything for like Frank's load of shit, you might as well do it like Louise. So they said once. I was like, I'm not functionally able to do it, mum.
Yep. It's weird. Man strength is what we call it, isn't it? Yeah. Man strength.
That's man sports.
Man sports. Second sponsor of the podcast.
You should be having your like some sort of man sports product on display.
Oh, fuck, next time.
Yeah. Thank you, Knocko and Monster.
Thank you, King's Club, for sponsoring this.
Thank you, Kamal.
Third sponsor.
Kamal let me wear a King's Club shirt today.
Yay.
Yay.
Fit? Did you say fit gay?
Fit co.
Oh my God!
You changing it.
The hell, man. Finally, Ross Edgley's. Again, I've only listened to the first few hours, but he was talking in this phase. It was about recovery and cold showers. There was a bit before it about someone, and it was about breathing pattern or something. It was like a form of meditation and a way to get your body to be oxygenated and so on. It was really confusing. I tried it. I nearly passed out. You have to sit there and do like 30 breaths. It's sort of similar to the Elliot Hulse type thing.
Yeah.
I imagine you've seen that.
Elliot Hulse.
And so cold showers, I've done it 2 days in a row now, and it's horrible.
Did you?
Yeah. So
Grenade J does it a lot now, doesn't he? Grenade J.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, where did he get the idea for that? And then he follows Ross Edgley as well, so I imagine he got it from there. But I'm not going to go into the benefits because I actually don't really know the benefits too much. I haven't really re-listened to it.
I guess the resetting your central nervous system is an obvious one.
My back has been
anti-inflammation.
My back has been feeling great after these two. I went into the shower really tight, and after coming out of it, I made sure I had it all on me.
Did you wash yourself with the shower? As in, like,
so I had the shower on hot, had just washed, and then 20 seconds of cold front and back. So 20 this front and 20 on the back, just to finish off, because you've got to, again, he says in the book, you've got to condition yourself to be cold proof, and eventually you'll find the cold warm,
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
Cool.
why when you initially put your hand in the water,
Yeah.
it's so freezing, but 20 seconds later, it
You
kind
get-
of
get
warms
used
up.
to it,
Yeah.
don't you? Yeah. And that theory dates back for years. If you look at like aromatherapy rooms and steam rooms and everything, they always encourage that you go like aromatherapy, cold shower, steam room, cold shower,
Yeah.
sauna, cold shower. The benefits of hot, cold on the body has been like renowned for years.
For years, yeah.
Ross Edgley's just very clever
Yeah.
and also adapted it into like more sports science based as well, more performance based as opposed to
To
just
be honest,
general health.
Ross Edgley actually credits other people mostly. He doesn't actually really take the credit for it because his whole concept of the book is that he travelled around and took these concepts
That's
from
what he's
people.
learned from his travels with people. It's always nice when someone actually like is willing to say where he got it from.
Yeah,
and
he's
talk
not
about
bigging
it.
himself up.
Yeah, he's
Well, I
saying what
think
he's
I'll go
learned.
on
Listen
next.
to it. It's good.
I think I've got our next week's challenge. Every day cold shower
Ooh,
Cold
I'm happy
shower
with
every
that.
day.
It's-
for minimum 20. Should we say 30 seconds?
Just keep going up until you come.
Conditions, yeah,
Condition
Yeah.
yourself.
All right. Cool. So
that sounds
30
good.
seconds for the next 7 days, boys.
I
Jay,
feel like
what
that's
was your
going to be a
book?
good one. Okay, so my book wasn't like a business book or a fitness book. It was a lame book, nerd book, because I was already reading it, and I definitely knew I wouldn't be able to accomplish a whole new book within this week. It was an unrealistic task of me. Even more so when Francesca's off, because I have a lot more time with
Yeah.
her, a lot less time listen to
Listen to
books
the
and stuff.
car, I've noticed, when you're driving.
I do a lot more car listens, and then a lot of my like audiobook listens when I'm in the car turns into I arrive at my destination. I sit there for like a good 40 to 50 minutes
I've seen you in
afterwards.
the car park.
Yeah,
just-
you film me that time. I'm sitting there like with my coffee for an extra hour or so. It's a really, really comfortable time, and I really enjoy it. My regret in life is not doing audiobooks a little bit sooner.
Yeah, same.
I never consumed enough books because I always read them manually, and the rate of like book consumption through audio and manual is
Especially when you can speed it up by 1.5
yeah,
or whatever.
it's really weird, and you can take up so much more. And when you get into the zone with listening, like the time just flies. Like 2 hours passes, and you're just like,
I suppose the hard thing about listening sometimes is hard to, unless you're fully engaged every second,
Yeah.
you will not pick the information up.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
reading, you can't
you
really
soak
dawdle
it in,
off.
don't you? You do soak it in, but it's just slower. And I find that when I read, like through a manual book, the conditions have to be like silent room,
Yeah.
like comfortable
Yeah.
setup. Like there's too much setup and like conditions I need. Whereas the audiobook just chucks on.
You can do
like,
cardio while you're on a bike or something.
Yeah,
or-
yeah. So it's really good. So I was reading a book called Fulgrim. That's the name of the book, and it's a character series about in this like kind of fantasy world, and he's a good guy to begin with, and then he gets corrupted by something and becomes a bad guy because he believes that this other side is good. And I always say a lot of storybooks are the author's words in a story that he can say, because authors are normally quite clever, quite insightful, and fairly philosophical. They have a lot of things they want to say, but maybe can't do it in the form of public speaking or write article writing. So instead, they write what they want to say in the form of a storybook,
Dead.
so they can get their things out. So basically, what it's saying is like, from what I took, it's like, look at where you are now. And then just because sometimes it's very tempting to go off across to something else, like for example, Juice Plus, it might be tempting to do that.
Unless it's 20k.
Unless it's 20k, but then you might go over there and be like, once you've done it, you massively regret it because it's not as good as you thought it was. You got falsely sold, or in his case, he thought crossing over to this bad side was going to be a lot better for him. Then he regretted it, but then it was too late. So like in life, it could be the same thing. So if you do cross over to Juice Plus, let's say, you get the income, but that 20k a month stops you from ever being able to make 50, 60, 70k a month because you've sold out onto something which appeared so good, and then you regret it. So my main point from that was to not just jump on something because it sounds better than where you are now. Look at it logically and see where it's actually going to take you, and can you go further than that on your own accord without giving into that thing, that temptation that makes you give in. And that can be applied to most things. Eating bad food, the result you get there and then of eating bad food versus the result you get if you don't eat that there and then, and you go on with your current diet and so on.
Normally
So-
you find that, don't you, after food, like after you're a bit guilty and you're like, oh, wasn't worth it, like you said.
Yeah, so no, it's good. So I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a mystical realm, so it's good for. I would find these storybooks are just good for like keeping your imagination going. They let your brain flow. You can start to visualize these worlds they're talking about, and it gives you a chance to
There's always a message somewhere.
Yeah, it just gives you a chance to escape and go. Another one that I read from the same series, he was more about leadership and like owning an empire and being in charge of it, and like
this guy
keeping it. This guy here, like controlling what's around you and being in control of your environment. And I took what the author was saying was how good this guy is at doing it. And if you look beyond what the base of the story is, you get these messages in there. And then they're also a good read, and it's good. I just think it's good for the mind sometimes. It's a good little escape on some of these. Yeah, thank you for saying my catchphrase there, Kay. Good for the soul. But you already know that now.
What was the book called again?
Fulgrim.
Sweet. So my one was influenced by Robert Cialdini, and so I'm going to say the biggest 3 takeaways from the book. So the first one's reciprocity, and he talks about that's actually the book's first rule. And it talks about how the social norm of responding to a positive action is with another positive action. And Gary Vee talks about this a lot as well. So we tend to be nicer to those who are nice to us. And at times we feel obliged or obligated to respond when someone behaves kindly to us. So if you, not necessarily in manipulative ways, but if you do want to, for example, strike a deal with this company, don't come in and say, oh, hey, I really want to work with you guys. Maybe reply to a few of their stories first, and I don't know, just engage with them, be genuinely interested in them if you are genuinely interested in them, and then maybe say, hey, I want to do this with you. And I guess with anything. Second one is authority, and just how the human nature is bases the way of treating people based on their titles, clothes, material position. So titles being how they feel that a person is more competent in other people's eyes. For example, if you're at the doctor's place or if you're speaking to a lawyer, you'd respect them a lot more just because of their title. So then it goes on to talking about clothes, and if we're well dressed and if we trimmed up and all that sort of stuff, people take it differently. Material possessions.
It's saying to do it.
Yeah, so it's essentially saying.
So you saying me and Jay are too scruffy, or?
I can pretty much back that with what happens here. So, sorry, Kay. I know you let you finish what you're saying first. I thought I just want to dive into what you was doing.
Yeah. It's I'll just quickly finish the material possessions, which will make sense as well. So cars, jewelry, mansions, and all that sort of stuff. So if you, in some ways, if you do want to come across as more authoritative, then you would do those 3 things to give you the edge essentially over the rest.
Yeah, and that's I've seen that for real. Like Jason Coolidge was probably the first time I saw it when he said that he thought Kay was the boss because Kay drives an Audi and I drive a Peugeot. It's that instant assumption that
material possessions, titles, Lord.
Yeah, Kay was called Lord Kay and he had an Audi and he's more trimmed up. I'm called Jason or Turd.
And James.
James sometimes. I drive a Peugeot. And my beard isn't like lined up so perfectly because that's just how I am.
So that's just the human nature of people. That's how they take you. Yeah. They read the book by its cover, which is unnatural.
Does that make you want to change, Jay? Or
absolutely not.
Hey.
No, unfortunately,
you're not a sellout.
I have to stay true to it. And deep down, I'd love a nicer car sometimes, but at the same time.
To be fair, like it's one of luxury things, a matter of priorities as well, isn't it? Like if you spend one thing on. Like, for example, with clothes, I found myself, like, ever since Instagram, I don't have to spend as much money on things like clothes and like just general items.
It's all right for some.
The third one's scarcity. So that's scarcity, okay. Sorry. And that fills the last chapter of the book. So it's just as important as the other 5 principles, or 2 that I mentioned. What did it say? So I wrote, as humans, every time we feel like our decision-making power is negatively affected, our instinct is to keep that power alive. So when scarcity interferes, we'll be more inclined to react towards that interference by desiring whatever it is that is scarce. Basically, if it's like a cat and mouse, cat and string theory. So if the cat has the string, then she's not interested. If you wave it about near it, she's more interested. But if it's too far away, it's unattainable. So basically, if you say there's a limited time offer, if you're a businessman and you want to entice your customers into buying faster, you can do that. It is manipulation, it is marketing, but it's just one of the ways of influence by Robert Cialdini.
Nice.
Sounds like a good book, that one.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
Quite
Buy an Audi.
happy.
Buy an Audi.
Buy an Audi,
Call
trim
yourself
up.
Lord, trim up, and you'll
Lord.
be fine.
To be fair, I wasn't the first one to do the Lord thing.
Who was the first one to do Lord?
Well, it started off, I think it
God, Jesus, sorry, listener.
started off with...
He's repeating.
The alarm. I think it started off with the doctor thing, didn't it?
Yeah, oh
He
yeah.
started calling me this. So I had this gay fan on Instagram who sent me a package every month of random things. It kept getting more and more expensive for him.
Life's full of freebies.
Yeah. He kept calling me a doctor because I think it was his fetish, because he was actually a doctor as well. And then Jade, my ex-girlfriend, she got me a lordship. And then that's how it just rolled, I guess.
There we go.
Very conscious of the time, so I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Good books. What's the challenge for next week?
Challenge for
Showers.
next week's showers. Cold
Obviously-
showers, 30 seconds each every single day.
Should we upload images on the podcast of us showering to
We
prove
should.
it?
Let's do it. We could do. Yeah, we could like a hold your phone out.
Yep.
We should do a video.
See my small penis in the back.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
everyone's shriveled cock.
Let's
Yeah.
all do a 10-second video of us first getting into the cold shower.
Oh, right.
Okay.
That's a good
Should we do
shout. Actually, let's
Um,
do that. Oh no, I look hideous, so I'm not going to do that.
It's just
man,
me
you
and
don't
Gabe.
like
I'll send it to you two so you can.
We could see it.
So you
All
know
right.
that way I can back up when I say I've done it.
Yeah, and I
you
also
can
don't want
see.
to edit that in. I
Yeah.
can't be
all
bothered
right.
for
Yeah.
that.
Just look on our Instagrams.
I'll just leave my maggot dick on screen, just like a full-on nude.
The real Frankie Lars needed this rustic soul and Life of Kamal.
Are you
on
just signing
Instagram.
us out?
No, I'm saying
Sign
look on
us
our
out.
Instagrams.
When has that ever happened?
Look on our,
We haven't
look on
got
our
long.
Instagrams to see the
Get
cold
anxious.
showers.
Cold showers.
Also, next week we are talking how much is too much as far as being a PT and talking to your clients.
Yep.
Is too much too much? How
Ooh,
much
good
is too
topic.
much?
That's good because that's current.
To my left,
Jason
to
Watson.
my right,
Kamal.
me, Frankie Lowe's, Jay, what's your Instagram?
Rustic Soul.
Kay, what's your Instagram?
Life of Kamal.
Me, the real Frankie Lowe's. Kay, sign us out.
Bye.